Hi, my name is Kendra Ritterhern, and today we'll be doing the U.S. economic forecast from 2014 to 2018. As far as the GDP goes, by 2014, it is expected to be at a 3.4% rate, which is rebounded from the 1.4% rate in 2013. It is expected to be at 3.6% by 2018 as well, and this is according to the Congressional Budget Office, the Budget and Economic Outlook. According to the Federal Reserve, however, the GDP will be between 3 and 3.5% in 2014, 3 to 3.7% in 2015, and 2.3 to 2.5% in 2015 to 2018. However, the predictions for 2013 have so far been off, with their predicted growth rate in the 2.3 to 3% range, when in actuality it has been between 1.4 to 1.8%. And here we have real GDP growth, as according to the Congressional Budget Office. For Consumer Price Index, from the fourth quarter of 2013 to the fourth quarter of 2014, the Consumer Price Index, as well as the Core Consumer Price Index, is forecasted to have a 2% change, with a 2.2% change from 2015 to 2018. And as far as unemployment goes, the Congressional Budget Office, as of February 2013, has forecasted a drop from the 7.8% unemployment rate in 2012 to 7.6% in 2014 and 5.5% by the end of 2018, with calendar year averages of 7.8% for 2014 and 6.1% for 2015 to 2018. The Federal Reserve is more optimistic, with 6.8 to 7.3% in 2014, 6 to 6.6% in 2015 to 2018. And this is our unemployment rate as according to the Congressional Budget Office, and it is planned to increase after 2014. For jobs available, the occupations with the largest percentage growth through 2018 are expected to be biomedical engineers with a 72% growth rate, network systems analysis with a 53% growth rate, home health aides with a 50% growth rate, personal and home care aides with a 46% growth rate, financial examiners with a 41% growth rate, medical scientists with a 40% growth rate, physician assistants with a 39% growth rate, skincare specialists with a 38% growth rate, biochemists and biophysicists with a 37% growth rate, athletic trainers with a 37% growth rate. However, these all depend on if there's not a recession, as there was in 2007 to 2009. The industries that will be benefiting at the end of this time period, according to Georgetown Economic Research predictions through 2020, are science, technology, engineering and math, healthcare professions, healthcare support, and community services. However, industries that will not be faring as well include physically intensive-based industries or your manual labor-based industries, which include construction and other such manual labor jobs. And an expert opinion on the economic future includes the one who is the National Journal Economic Consultant, and the name is Neeraj Chokshi, who says that the growth of real GDP, economic output, will pick up considerably beginning in 2014 due to congressional budget projects after economic activity adjusts to this year's fiscal tightening. Next year's growth is expected to be driven by improvements to household income, household wealth, and the credit markets. Congressional Budget Office projects growth of 3.4% in 2014 and 3.6% annually from 2015 through 2018. Growth is expected to slow, however, in the second half of the decade. Additionally, this consultant says that unemployment will decrease as aforementioned to 5.5% in 2018. However, as according to the U.S. debt, the Congressional Budget Office expects debt to reach 76% of the GDP by the year's end, its highest level since 1950. The level could drop off over the next few years, but is expected to rise again in the second half of the decade. And as far as my prediction for the economy, I believe the economy is going to go up with the real GDP growth that is expected to happen. However, after 2020, there is a loss of GDP growth, but that is not within our time range. However, we have to take into account the debt, which is accumulating each year, and that might account for the GDP growth that is occurring. However, I do agree with the analysts and believe that the GDP will go up and unemployment will hopefully go down as well. And two geopolitical events that could affect the U.S. economy include oil and gas prices, which are very volatile due to embargoes that have been placed, and the current turmoil in the Arab and Egyptian regions, which are the source of the U.S. oil. Also, food prices tend to be very volatile as well. There has been higher food prices recently. They normally increased 2 to 3% since 1990, and there's been a 3 to 4% increase in 2013. And there are two policy shifts that drive up corn prices and affect feedstock. The U.S. government takes some corn out of production for biofuels, while the World Trade Organization limits the corn and wheat stockpiles that the U.S. and European Union are allowed to subsidize. If oil, gas, and transportation prices go up as they are expected to, then food prices will increase as well. And the indicator models, I also have some more economic models. This is the GDP growth rate. The red is the predicted GDP or potential GDP if the GDP was increasing at a constant rate. The blue is the actual GDP, and there's a GDP gap in there as well. And this is according to another website. And we have inflationary changes according to the Congressional Budget Office. Interest rates according to the Congressional Budget Office. And then what we were talking about earlier, as the economic expert said, with the debt is expected to take up more of the federal spending, as seen in the end part of this graph, where you can see it's taking up more of the federal spending. Additionally, with the employment, you can see the greatest growth in this chart, which is from Georgetown University, in the science, technology, and the other fields are expected to increase as well. And that is the economic forecast for the U.S. economy from 2014-2018. Thank you.